Today, we're truly honored to be here with Will Komassa, the chairman of the board, BOERD, and CEO of Blizzard Lighting, the fastest growing lighting company in the US, possibly the world. Manufactures LED lighting to DJs, bands, production companies, churches, NFC championship games, and more. He's taken the company from his basement to as of next year, an 8-figure operation.
Well played. Nice.
And he's also an avid fan of fish tanks, animal skin rugs, and a musical connoisseur. Will, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the fantastic introduction, I think.
I put a lot of effort into that, including pronouncing your name right.
Start.
Richie Björk. You got to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
Richie Björk here.
It's like that's the Swedish singer. Björk.
I've never heard of him.
It's a woman. It's okay. We've derailed already.
Yeah.
Okay, good time.
Okay, let's get into this. So Will does have a very interesting story. Your background, you went to UW Law School and then entered the corporate world.
Yep.
At Deloitte, right?
Yeah.
Tax consultant.
Yep. True. Worked in their tax practice for about 5 years and was called Global Employer Services. We helped companies send people all over the world, helped them with their tax stuff. Also had an outsourced international human resources function there, and I did that for 5 years.
What made you stop doing that?
The economy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a choice on my part, but I was looking for another job, probably doing something similar to what I was doing. I liked what I did back then, but I also played in a band and had for a long time, and did a lot of like dorky technical theater stuff in high school and college. And I always liked playing around with the sort of lights that you'd see out on tour or bands use and stuff like that. And thought there might be an opportunity there. Started tinkering with some stuff, and a couple years later, it actually was pretty profitable right from the start, and we managed to grow really nicely over 6 years, and we're doing real well with it, and we're still having a lot of fun.
So were you tinkering around while you were still at Deloitte?
Oh yeah,
for a couple of years on the side. You met your business partner Bob.
Yeah.
In a
yes.
By subbing for his band 5 years before Blizzard officially started.
Yeah. I'm from Milwaukee area originally, and went to school in Madison, and I lived there for 8 years total. And when I came back, I had a buddy who I'd known in college who was doing sound for this band, and he lived pretty far away. And he's like, "Hey, would you mind filling in for me?" I'd done sound, front of house live sound mixing in college, just as a kind of hobby thing as well. And I was like, "Oh, sure." So I started doing sound for this band, and at some point in time, I don't even know how, but they found out that I could sing, and I ended up becoming the singer of this band, and did that for 4 years, and met my business partner Bob, who is the rhythm guitarist, and just one of those guys. Our personalities meshed, and he's my best friend, which is funny because he's 25 years older than me. I think 20 years older than me. But he's my kind of asshole. I dig him, and he's a great business partner. And he'd probably say the same thing about me.
I'm sure he would. So you did that, then you officially started Blizzard out of your basement.
Yep, March of 2010 we started, I had my basement, which at the time was probably 900 square feet or so. I had a little space where I'd set up lights to demo them and do videos of them, and then we had an area for taking in the product and QCing it, making sure it worked right, and then the rest of it, part of my basement was finished, so we ended up pushing all the furniture against the wall and using it as a warehouse. But we would get everything delivered in by air freight or DHL or something, and then I had this board that I took out of my closet that I stuck on the stairs, and we'd slide the boxes down the stairs. It was great. Yeah.
How long after you leaving Deloitte was that right away, or was that?
Yeah. So while I started doing some interviewing, and I had actually got a really nice job offer, and I had to make a choice because I'd started doing it, just to make extra money until I found the next full-time thing. I had a house that I had to pay for, and that is my responsibility alone. So trying to raise money and started doing this. Was going out on interviews, and I had a really nice offer, and I ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to see what this turns into, and yeah, it worked.
And you started that in March, and then you hit $1 million in sales by November?
No, it took us it was about 1 year.
Okay.
So our first year, if I remember, we maybe did about $375K, but the next year we did about $1.6 million. So it was a pretty significant jump. So yeah, over the course of, 21 months, we did about almost $2 million of business. And really what took us from the basement and into the garage was,
Literally.
Yeah, that was the next stop we made, was just kind of my own internal resources and Bob. But then we were very fortunate, out of the blue, we got a contact from a guy named Frank Lupino, who has been in this business for a super long time. He was a manufacturer's rep for one of our competitors previously, and was looking for a new gig, and came on board as kind of our sales guy. And he took us to the next level. We ended up making him another partner about 1.5 years later, and he's been. He is definitely a huge driver of sales and revenue.
Did you ever imagine it growing that fast? I mean, from the outside looking in, it seems like a relatively crowded industry with a decent barrier to entry. I would think getting it off the ground would be a struggle.
Well, I was younger, right? So everything, you're invincible. The older you get, the more invincible you get, I guess. So there's that. I was probably too stupid to really know that there was a potential that I would not succeed at it. But I definitely think I have a can-do attitude there, Pops. So, oh, Dad, I got a can-do attitude. No, I mean, to be honest with you, the thought of me not being successful never entered my mind. I'm gonna find a way to get stuff done. The thought, in retrospect, of how fast we've grown only seems natural because it's the only thing I've ever known. I don't know. I think we had good timing. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, I sort of egotistically chalk up to a good work ethic. I think I was blessed by having the parents that I have. They instilled that in me. You got to bust your ass if you ever, if you want nice stuff, if you want to have a nice life, it's going to take hard work, and that seems to be true. So I think there's a lot of that, and then we've been really fortunate. We've had good people join us, and then the language we speak, people seem to enjoy listening to. The music we make, people seem to like listening to. So
yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of things going on, but it's cool to look back and say, like, wow, yeah, we started there and we've come a long way. But I don't do it often. I think, what do we got to do to take the next 5 steps? What do we have to do to improve our products to be, continuing to be on the leading edge and beyond of the market? What do we have to do to get to not only 10 million, which I think we'll do comfortably next year, maybe this year, but most definitely next year. But not only to 10 million, but to 20 million or 30 or 40 and beyond. And what are the other areas that are out there that we can potentially have an impact in besides entertainment lighting? Overall marketplace is, about $1 billion, but there are some competitors that have pretty big shares of that. We'd love to keep eating away at them, but there's lighting everywhere, and it's very much coming of age right now.
Yeah, and that is a struggle once you start a company, even if it's moving along fast and you're doing so much, because there's always more you can be doing to actually look back and see how far you've come.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I think that is important to recognize that, especially from a team morale and maybe a personal sanity point. What did your parents really do to instill that work ethic in you?
It just, I guess I've thought about this myself, and it wasn't ever any one thing. It was more just the way they treated things. Like, well, you don't expect good things. Work for good things. And one of my mother's cliched favorite sayings, she had it written on the refrigerator. You know, and I guess the theory here is, well, you're blessed, and which I would concur with. I've been extremely blessed or lucky or whatever you want to call it, to have been brought up in a really good family and been given opportunities. You given those opportunities, you damn well better take advantage of them. And so she had this written on the refrigerator to those whom much is given, much is expected. And and I would roll my eyes at her because it's so cliched. But you know what? It must have sunk in, because like I take it as my responsibility. I feel like I've been given a lot, and I'm gonna do I don't want to mess it up. And now I can kind of take that mentality here. I've got a bunch of people here that, you know, are kind of an extension of my family, and we got to take care of these guys too. And I want what's best for them. I want what's best for the company, and then my real family too. Obviously, they're pretty damn important.
Right.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a kid now.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah.
How many employees are you up to?
I think we have 22 full-time employees and then a handful of part-timers. Yeah, it's grown pretty well. I would love to have 20 more if the internal economy here was more favorable towards that. I'd probably hire the entire Go Get It staff for starters. Just have them come and sit here.
I'm flattered.
It's such an integral part of the business.
How much turnover has there been in your employees?
Very little. We have, with very, very few exceptions, the people who have come to work here still work here.
I asked that because I think we've been working together for 2 years.
Yeah,
I think over 2 years, and I don't know if I've seen anyone leave. Can you touch on the culture you've built here?
Yeah,
it's very unique.
Yeah, and you know what it is? It's like it's turning out to be probably the hardest thing. To
keep that as you grow.
Yeah. I worked at Deloitte, and I really appreciated some of the things that I was exposed to there. You are surrounded by people who are extremely intelligent and highly talented at what they do. They don't hire like chumps there. You get the people you're around are phenomenal, and they also have and particularly I was in the Milwaukee office, and the majority of the people in that office had previously worked at Arthur Andersen, and then after Enron, they were basically out on the street, and the Deloitte just said, "Oh, well, we'll take you in," and as a result, the majority of that practice actually was ex-Andersen people. Those people were the embodiment of work hard, play hard, and so I tried to when I started doing this and we were able to do it, definitely want to treat employees well. So at Deloitte, I got a lot of lunches bought for me. We buy lunch for everybody here every day. It's just it's a little bit selfish too, because people don't leave for lunch. We eat lunch for 20 minutes, and then everyone gets back to work, and it gives us a time to socialize, to joke around, and then it's back to work. Beyond that, we try to have fun here. I know every company says that, and that's good. That's what you should do. If you can have fun while you're at work, you're ahead. But I think we probably take it a little bit further than most people do.
Yeah, people should check out your YouTube channel.
Yeah,
where there's plenty of examples.
Yeah, we had a goat in the office once. We had a Kentucky Derby that we staged with power equipment in the warehouse. We're pretty goofy, and part of the industry we're in is a performance industry, and I don't know, it seems to resonate with people, and honestly, it's not an act. In fact, if really the stuff that ends up for public consumption is censored pretty heavily. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You recently had a murder mystery party.
We did. Yeah. Thank you for your. Oh yeah, that was last year.
I think the shirt I'm wearing.
That's actually Bob, my business partner there. Yeah.
Bob. Shout out to Bob. We were shooting potato guns at Puffins.
Yep. And it was last year's party.
At the party.
Until Joel broke the potato cannon twice.
Yep.
But, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of Joel, what were your views on him leaving the party early for a Rascal Flatts concert this year?
He had to go. He had to perform as, I don't know if he's Flats or Rascal, but yeah. Now here's where you cut away to the split screen of Joel and what's the guy's name? Gary LaVox, I think is the guy's name.
I think Katie could throw that up during the video.
Yeah, I'll get you. I'll see if I can find a picture of Joel when he now he shaved his head.
Yeah,
but he had like the spiky hair too, and it was like it was hilarious. But yeah, so I was disappointed, but I understood, and then so we just made him the guy who's dead, which worked out fine.
We did do that.
Yeah, and he had his ashes in a coffee can. Which you can buy on Amazon.
Are people, when people start working here, are they surprised after a few weeks or a month? Because you go into pretty much every job interview and a company's going to sell you culture, and you guys actually walk the talk, and they might even be, you probably over-deliver on that.
I guess you'd have to ask them.
Yeah.
But probably, I think I probably would have been. And like I mentioned, it's tough. The bigger we get, we have not like, and we hired a guy who is you just met him, Adam, one of the million people from West Bend that my wife went to high school with that I now am in business with in some way, shape, or form. Adam is a bit of a ball buster, and I think we needed that at this stage of the game. Mm-hmm. I think he'd agree too. He is phenomenally talented, and he is really helping a lot. And I don't disagree with most of the process related things. In fact, haven't disagreed with any of them. But one of the things that we talked about, like on day one with him, is we got to get this stuff in place, but we cannot. In fact, we have to only improve the culture. And the way I described it to him, and I've described it to like Bob and Frank too, is what I want to do is we need to find the line that we can't cross, sprint up to it at full speed, and then stop with our toes just barely touching it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we try to do.
How challenging has that been? I mean, we're obviously a little younger and quite a bit smaller than you guys, but even going from startup environment and now it's me and 5 others, and we recognize that we need better processes and a little more organization other than the straight startup culture. How challenging has that been, or has it come kind of naturally because the culture was so strong to begin with? Yeah, you know what? Like, I think that, and by the way, I'm not like one of the biggest parts of our culture is we don't use words like culture and processes. In fact, I don't know. Right. I mean, we probably do, but it doesn't sound natural in this environment. We openly mock them. Yes. So like we can, what do you call it? I don't know. Bullshit. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Something like, I got to do this, but this would be the work hard portion of it, right? So there's we do recognize that it's got value, but I think I give the credit to Adam on this. He is a can-do guy also, and when you've got somebody like that leading the charge, I think most of the reservations go away. A lot of times, I think what people are afraid of is with these processes is extra work and change, right? And if you've got someone who's confident in what they're doing and who is going to lead you, that's a huge part of it. And then, you start doing it and you find out, this isn't that much different than what I was doing before, or, this is way better. And I think the people who work here have been pretty responsive to that. And I think we've got people who are smart enough and don't want to be wasting their own time. And if it's a better way, they're going to embrace it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it can be a challenge for sure. What's up with all the nicknames you have for people at Blizzard? I don't know. Do you have any favorite nicknames in the office? Yeah, Jogly Jogles. That's one of Joel's nicknames. Any meaning behind that? There is, but I can't share it. Okay. But Jogles, and then it became Jogly Jogles. We've got we've got Beefy, Smoky, the Walrus. Yeah, the Walrus. We got Bobsy. I like that one. Megs. In fact, you know what? I'm the only person without a nickname here. It hurts my feelings very much. No one's came up with one? No. Do they have one behind your back? I've asked this. Like, what do you guys say about me when I'm not here? And they're like, oh,
nothing. Yeah, right. But no, I have no nicknames that
No,
day.
you're a good guy. I don't know. I feel like they would tell you if they had a nickname for you.
That's why it hurts. It's like, man, I'm not even in my own club.
Yeah.
Always the outsider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're all watching this right now, so maybe they'll take note.
Yeah.
Along with the millions of other viewers.
Yeah.
What's your biggest surprise since starting Blizzard and embarking on this journey?
Well, I got two thoughts. There are a lot of you meet a lot of really cool people, and you meet a lot of assholes, and I figured out pretty quickly that it's way worth it to, especially like for vendors like you, it's way worth it to like either pay a little more or expect a little less if you're working with people who you genuinely get along with and who share your own, like you have common values with. And part of what I talked about before when I worked at Deloitte, like not only were the people that worked there just like the highest caliber people, but the customers were of such a high caliber. And I definitely took that for granted. I'm not saying our customers are bad people or anything, but they can be challenging at times. And some of the conversations I've personally had with them have not shown my best side. I absolutely admit, but some of the stuff that I've had customers say to me would make a I don't know.
I mean, we've seen some of the comments on social media, and obviously I've heard.
Yeah, it makes like some of the like political crap seem pretty pedestrian. It's pretty impressive what people come up with. But the other thing positives have definitely been maybe not surprised, but that's definitely something I figured out early on. Here's something that I'm legitimately surprised at is how difficult it is for even an established business to work with banking. We've been pretty successful at it.
When you know John Mariano.
Yeah, that's right. What up, John?
Yeah. Shout out.
It's tough. I don't know how much like you've had to deal with it. We have such a large amount, and our primary asset is our inventory, and so I think that's an added layer of complexity for us. That and the fact that I don't know why this is such a difficulty, but like every time we go to a bank, it's like, oh, China makes stuff, and you're buying stuff in China. Well, I've never seen that before. Like, really? Okay, and that's been pretty surprising to me. I would. Overall, business bankers would seem to me like they would have to be fairly intuitive and people who are pretty clued into like the way the world works. And it seems like they're not at all. So I mean, we've been able to navigate, but it's tough and it's frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, you're a service business. Don't have like the need for probably the amount of capital we have to have. So, look, good for you. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think going off of that, that's a valuable lesson not to associate with assholes or just negative people.
Oh, seriously, yeah, no.
Whether it's a vendor or an employee, because I mean,
anybody,
one of those can just suck the life out of the group.
I actually wrote a breakup letter to a customer once, and I wish I still had it. I mean, it was poetry. I'm pumping myself up, but this guy had it coming to him, and it was really satisfying. And what made it even better is like when it was an email, and he wrote back, and he missed the entire point. Like it was, I'm really sorry it didn't work out. It's not you, it's me. This was really in there. You can keep the dog. He always liked you better, but I want my records back. And the guy totally just didn't get it at all. And anybody.
Which proves your point.
Yeah. Obviously, look, my friend, we weren't meant to be together. But yeah, there's no you. Why the hell would you want to spend your day just constantly fending off the
No, I mean, when you're running a business, you could, if you really want to, you could be stressed out about 20 different things.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to focus on that, the last thing you need is people actually being negative or being dicks.
For sure.
Another interesting thing about you, I wanted to ask, is there anything you miss about corporate? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they get out and start a business and actually make it, and they're like, fuck corporate, entrepreneurialism is the only way, you'll never go back.
No.
Whereas you're like, I actually enjoyed my time at Deloitte, I did this and I'm glad it's working out. So that's almost unique. And I mean, I know a lot of people in corporate who really enjoy it. I think corporations can be great. I just think everyone's different and people need to find what works for them. Do you miss anything about corporate?
Yeah, I do miss. I mean, I miss the people I worked with because they were like I had friends there, and some of the larger scale things that you're able to do when you're a ginormous corporation. I mean, from infrastructure to like the types of like charity stuff that they would do. I always thought that was pretty cool, and now that is one thing. Like looking back, like particularly like mundane, horrible stuff like IT infrastructure. Man, did they have that nailed. And it can be a really big hurdle for like a, small, mid-sized company. And so that stuff I do miss. And then just being able to have the resources in place to go out and basically pick the people you're going to actually, like, you have a huge talent pool and you can just like cherry pick the very best people. And not have to entice them in with, have you seen our, yucky yuck videos or, like stuff like that. Like we can just throw a huge pile of money at you. Probably it's on some level makes doing business a little bit easier.
If someone's thinking about starting a business like you have or I have, what would you say to them before they take the plunge?
Don't make it a lighting or social media marketing business. Please.
But we're sitting here right now. We've made it so far.
Yeah. Do it. Well, absolutely. So one of the coolest things that I think is happening right now is, and I'm using another label, which I'm not fond of, but the maker culture is a huge thing. Like I actually have a copy of this magazine called Make on my desk. There's this whole like thing that people are doing now where they're just going out and doing stuff. And that is awesome. Like we really have we're not manufacturing a lot of stuff here in this country anymore. We're not even designing a lot of stuff in this country anymore, or not nearly as much as we used to. And we have this huge culture that's pretty well developed and continues to grow of people who are getting in their basement or their parents' basement or their garage or their attic or whatever the hell, and they're cobbling together circuit boards, or they're making stuff out of wood or metal or whatever it is. Take that stuff and take it to the next level. You got a product or you have an idea for a product. Now that's one little bit of it. Now figure out how to make money off of it. Figure out how to employ people off of that. Absolutely. It's not going to be easy, but it's totally worth it. It's great. Like the end of the day, you can hold your head up high. You've done something. You can look back on what you did and you're like, wow, I did that. That's pretty cool.
I agree with that. And you're saying jump in. I think another thing to think of is really what's the worst case scenario. Like if Blizzard flopped, you could have gone back to your job or got another one. If
now it would be a little bit scarier, but
right.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another important thing about starting a business is you're going to learn so much and you're going to grow your skill set, and you can take that if it doesn't work out, you can take all you learned as long as you go all out and apply it to.
You got to focus on details part of the time and big picture part of the time. And then the intersection another part of the time. And especially when you're early on, you got to do it all. And then you have to also have the ability to figure out, this has gotten bigger than me. And be able to say that and have no ego about it. And shit, we need to find somebody who's way better at this than I am. And that is one of those things that you'll, like when you're growing, you're gonna experience that at some point in time. Oh, yeah.
Your team's everything you need. You really need to drop the ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. But yeah, it's important. But yeah, you gotta have your eyes everywhere and nowhere, and know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Yeah. Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
You ready for a deep question?
Yeah.
As a recent father,
Mm-hmm.
how has parenting changed your view on life?
Oh, wow.
You need a couple minutes. Lee.
Overall, it hasn't. I guess every time something new happens in my life, I think I said before, I'm definitely a guy who likes seeing challenges or problems and solving them, and this is not a problem, or if it is, it's like the most awesome problem ever. It is life changing in many small little ways, but overall, I think it fits with my kind of overall perspective on life of like every day you get out of bed and you open your eyes, like you have the potential for having really incredible, amazing things happen. And the little guy, Liam, has been the biggest thing probably ever. You asked me before what was surprising to me since I started the business, and like I kind of gave a shitty answer. I'm sorry, but I had, and like especially like once we found out Katie was pregnant, I had like so many people like, oh, it's gonna change your life, or it's, and then later, like even closer to like when she was probably 7, 8 months pregnant, like there's just this like thing that happens where like you just like, it's like 1 minute you're old you, and like the next minute, like the first time you hold him, or the first time he smiles or looks at you or whatever, like your heart just completely changes, and that definitely happens. And I was probably a little bit cynical, and I shouldn't have been, because it's amazing. Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of softy and I'm kind of welling up, but he's pretty badass.
He is pretty badass. Yeah. I've met the guy.
Yeah, he's a good, he's
ladies' man in the making.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he has the most phenomenal hair of any child, like any kid under one. That's an old picture. I'll get you a better one. That's the one I show to, this is the picture I show to vendors when I'm not happy with them. Yeah, but dude has hair. I think there's a better one back there of his hair.
I want some of that hair. Then I can stop using Rogaine.
Yeah. Good luck. No,
nice.
It's like part of every man's life after 30-ish. You gotta get the Kirkland brand. It's cheaper at Costco. Yeah.
I'm glad I started early. I'm still doing all right. Okay, let's. On that note, let's switch to a less serious note. We're going to take some questions from the fans.
Oh, all right. Swell.
How many animal skin rugs do you own?
Oh, wow. So this has got to be from the girls, because you guys were at the house. Let me see here. So
this was from our own Katie sitting right
beautiful.
There.
So we have, you know what? I think really only the one is genuine cowhide. The one in that front room is. We have two small. Actually, those are real lamb's wool, but they were sheared, so the lamb didn't suffer. Well, depending on who you ask, those are in the bedroom, and then there is another one under the table in the big room. So that'd be 4. I don't know. Are there other ones? Did you see other ones?
I saw a lot of animal hides.
Yeah, there's you know what? Do you think I decorated my own house? Yeah. No, I would take that as another thing I'm very fortunate for. I'm very appreciative of my wife. Has really nice taste. So now you probably
shout out to Katie.
Yeah, now people who haven't been at my house probably think like I'm, I don't have like, elephant heads on the walls.
No, you don't. We don't want people getting the wrong picture. Okay,
we do have right, but no, I think 4. I tell you what, I'll count tonight and confirm. Yeah.
Okay. Most inspiring musical artist.
Most inspiring.
From any genre.
Yeah. Most inspiring. See, because this not only takes into account my taste in music, but also my definition of inspiring and what inspires me. Boy. Man. I can't think of it. I'm not going to be able to give an answer that's going to live up to my own exacting specifications.
Archie Everstool?
Oh, I see. You wrote this question. Okay, let's ask it again.
Okay. Most inspiring musical artist.
Archie Eversole.
Eversole.
Yeah.
Boom.
He be rolling hard like some dubs on a Bentley, man. Think about money. He got plenty, man. If you ask
Word.
him where he's from, the dirty, dirty. That's right.
The dirty, dirty.
I wonder what he's up to these days.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably
If
5 to 10.
Archie, if you're watching,
Yeah.
please reach out. We would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, I think he came out with another follow-up to We Ready called We Still Ready. And it didn't do quite as well.
No. Great high school, middle school basketball
You're a
pump-up
Marquette
song.
guy, right? Did they still play that like when you went to, because I know what it
No, I think we played that in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I went to Marquette games, college games for a while, and they always played that. And that's actually like where.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're ready to run through a wall after hearing that.
Yeah, there was like a pretty great subgenre of like of inspirational rap, like that "Heart of a Champion" by Nelly, probably around the
Oh,
same vintage.
Nelly, yep.
Yeah, with the John Tesh played NBA and NBC
Yes.
theme. Yeah,
That was a good
horrible.
one.
Gives me chills.
But
Yes.
Hot in Her.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Another hit by Nelly.
Absolutely talented individual. Which just cheapens what I said about Molly and Bailey before. Although he was good in The Longest Yard. I liked him in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What is your definition of a go-getter?
Oh, well, somebody who has an idea or a vision, and then has the capability, the mental capability, and the physical capabilities of making that vision turn into reality. Right. So you see something you want, and you get after it, and you accomplish what you set out to accomplish.
That's an inspiring note to end on. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Richie.
That was
Thanks
good.
for having me. And fabulous choice in t-shirts, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.